Hey guys, what's up? It's filtersc here, and I'm back for the Wood to Bronze series. This is a part of the broader Bronze to Masters series. This time we're just going to take a look at a real simple basic Terran build that you can do, and the best way to practice this is to jump into the custom games section on the menu, and if you just go to browse maps here, we can select under category. We're just going to go for melee, and it's only going to pull Blizzard maps, which means we can pick stuff that's typically in the map pool. And for the purpose of this, we're just going to pick Coda because it's one of the more simple maps. We'll create game. I'm not using the built-in ability to play against computers because I want to actually set the difficulty for the computer. You can, if you want, just go into the matchmaking. If you pick versus AI, you'll be able to play against whatever difficulty you want. This time I'm going to put it on the very hard AI, and we're just going to go ahead and start up the game. Make sure we pick Terran, make sure all the settings are correct. Looks like it's all good to go. And the whole point of this build, again, this is something you can do with your friends. This is something you can do to practice and start to get familiar with the game. And we're just going to get a few basic units out. We're going to work kind of off one base to get started. So if you're familiar with the marine drills of the past that we've done, this is a little bit different. This is just something that will get you going, make you feel a little bit more comfortable on ladder. And I'm going to kind of talk about it and explain it as I go through it so that you guys will start to feel a little bit more comfortable. Now, if you remember, I said I was going to do in the actual game itself. I'm going to turn this on. There we go. And that'll make me blue, and it'll make my opponent orange every single time. And you can hear me banging on my keyboard a little bit. It's kind of a bad habit I do. But all I want to do is make SCVs right now. Don't have to rush to get a supply depot or anything like that nice and early. When our supply gets to 9 up here, all we're going to do is just rally that SCV down there. Nice and easy. And while we're waiting for that, we're going to set our camera hotkeys for that base, and our third base. Rally back, grab this SCV, and we're going to make our supply depot. And then we're going to continue to make SCVs. Nice and easy. I'm only going to make a partial wall off. A lot of times for Terran, you'll want a wall completely off if you're against the Zerg. But because I'm not against the Zerg, or well, I don't know, because I'm playing against a random, I don't need to worry about that, but I'm going to continue to make SCVs. You can see that I've hotkeyed my command center to 4, and I've hotkeyed this little guy to 2. On 12 supply, I'm going to be able to build a barracks, and I'm going to immediately hotkey that to number 5. Go back and make sure I'm producing an SCV. Grab this, and I'm just going to rally to the top of the ramp there. When I get about 75 minerals, I'm going to grab an SCV and just send them over there to make my gas refinery, and then continue to make SCVs. It's really important when you're doing this kind of stuff that you continuously make SCVs rather than worrying about anything else. If you're not fundamentally able to create enough SCVs to saturate even one base in this particular case, you're going to have a lot of trouble. Now you can see this gas refinery is getting ready to finish, so I'm going to send the SCVs nice and early. If you notice, I grabbed 2 because I was just using a small mouse box to pull off 2. That's really important to do, and there's a reason for that. We're just going to rally that guy back. Start our marine, and then we're going to get our orbital on the way. The reason you only want to grab 2 and you want to grab them nice and early is just so that they're done and they're already on gas at the time that the gas finishes, right? You don't want to wait till that finishes. You want to do it right away. So after we've got our gas refiner, our orbital done, and our first marine on the way, we're going to go ahead and build this second depot down here. We're going to rally that guy back, and we're going to go ahead and build our next barracks. Nice and easy. When our command center finishes, we're able to grab, there we go, keep the marines flowing, we're able to grab an SCV off it immediately. So now we've got 2 barracks, and we're going to want to make a third barracks. Continuing to make SCVs and not rushing though. We're going to grab an SCV and just send them over there. Nice and easy. You can see we've now got our 3 barracks up. Once we get to 3 marines, we're going to make a tech lab. And you can see my opponent's Protoss, and he's already scouting me, so that's cool. And we're going to need to get another supply depot going, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Make sure these guys are rallied back. One thing you'll see is a lot of people, when they go to play Terran, they'll go to build a building and then immediately rally back. You'll also see a lot of players that won't do that, and I'll explain why in 1 second. When this barracks finishes, we're going to grab a reactor on it. When this first one finished its tech lab, you see how I started stim, continued with marine production, continue with SCV production. This guy is going to continuously make supply depots, so I don't want to rally him back. I just want him to sit there so I know when he's idle. And I'm just going to keep making workers, keep dropping mules as they come up. And we're going to get our second tech lab here. Nice and easy. We've got one guy who's just going to sit there making depots. Now that I've got my tech labs and all that done, I'm going to go into Marauder production. You don't want to do it too early, because if you start making a lot of Marauders, oops, you don't want those Marines just yet. If you start making a lot of Marauders, that's where you can have a little bit of trouble, because your money will end up not being very... Marauders are quite expensive in terms of trying to tech and all that. So when this second tech lab finishes, we're going to go ahead and grab combat shields. Again, nice and easy. Make sure I queue up a couple of Marines. I noticed one of my Marines did not go to this barracks, it went to this one, so I just canceled it to make sure I'm continuously only making Marauders. And I'm just making workers. All I'm doing now is making workers, supply depots, trying to pump out as many Marauders as I can. The most important thing to me is to make SCVs, because that's the skill we're going to need for later on, right? There we go. Waiting for a Marauder. If you notice, one thing I'm trying not to do is queue up a lot of units, because you actually pay for them right away. Like these units I pay for. If I cancel them, you see my money goes back up. You never want to queue units if you don't have to. You want to try to produce them as close as you possibly can to when they're finished. And the reason for that is you can queue all your units and spend all your money, but this, in this case, it's a Marine I don't want, right? But this Marauder here is just costing me money. It's not doing anything. Now, for this purpose, it doesn't really matter, but alright. So, as you can see, it's around 7 minutes here. Stim's about to finish. It's about 7:30. I'm still making SCVs, even though technically you don't have to. And if you were really doing this build as like a real build, it wouldn't be something you would do. And we're just going to grab this little guy. We're going to rally to the watchtower first. And then I've rallied all my Marines to one of the Marauders in the back, or all my units. Continuing to drop mules. When these guys get here, I'm just going to bounce them over there. Not too worried about overqueuing SCVs, because that's one area where I want as many as I possibly can get. And we're just going to march up and try to kill our Protoss friend here. Oh, he's got a lot of stuff, so we got Stim. We're going to go up there. And hopefully just take him out. You can see it's only a very hard AI, so it doesn't really matter. I don't care about the Nexus. I actually want to get into his base. Now, when my army gets into his base, I'm going to start re-rallying here. Go home, make sure, it doesn't matter if my units are fighting, make sure I'm continuously producing supply depots. Make sure these new units are coming up and killing that stuff. And spread our units out. We're going to go and kill the pylons. But just a nice and easy, simple build. Continuously producing units. Doesn't matter if you're queuing when you fight. That's actually okay. Just make sure those new units do that. Because you can go back home and be like, okay, these units I can cancel those. I can go build a command center while I'm fighting. You have a lot of things available to you in terms of options, right? Again, just trying to fight and kill what I can. I've already been making a lot of SCVs, so I'm okay. I'm going to set my rally point here so these units can be separate now. I'm going to go try to kill off the rest of his pylons, because that's what's most important. And shut down all his production. And you can see, I'm using my hotkeys for my production to build stuff, right? That's all I'm trying to do. Using this SCV to make supply depots, and those hotkeys to build things. Go back and target those down. These guys could probably use an attack move command. And now I've got my new command center. We're just going to hotkey that, throw it up, rally it over. And the computer looks like they want to surrender, so we've managed to kill off everything they have available to them. Again, we didn't use the elite AI or anything, we just used very hard, although you can very easily beat the elite AI with something like this. And it's just to get yourself familiar with the concepts of StarCraft and, you know, kind of what you want to do. One of the good things is to expand behind your attack, which I did here. And you can use those extra resources you're banking up, right? Again, this guy should hopefully finish. And we've completely killed them, so they're going to be out of the game. That's just a real simple, straight up, easy to execute build that you can, you know, practice a few times. I don't know why the game's complaining. You can practice a few times as we get all the achievements now, boys, that we didn't unlock because we haven't played on this account. But it's just a really nice and easy way to kind of, you know, get going, learn the game a little bit, learn how to play against the AI a little bit, learn how to attack and fight. You know, I wasn't doing anything super fancy. I just stimmed my units once, I think, during all of that. And it's just a really good, simple, easy to do basic build order that you can execute when you go to start playing team games with your friends, when you go even to play on ladder by yourself, or even if you just want to practice and, play a few games against the AI. Through the matchmaking, you have this option available to you as well. But it's the easiest and most simple introduction to Terran without having to get crazy and having like 19 bases or anything like that. So we're going to start you out there, and then we're going to move on from there, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Remember to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter. You can follow my Twitch if you want to see me actually play and ask questions and stuff like that for live streams. And I will see you guys next time.